Hi guys, my workplace is kinda messy, but obviously we will be doing something today. I've done fixing many times already, but this time I have to video my work. This is Lenovo F0DT series all-in-one PC. A friend of mine just gave me a few days ago. She told me that this PC is still working but have some issue. She's no longer need it, so she just gave me for free. But I don't know what issue does this PC have. Before we start dismantling this Lenovo F0DT series all-in-one PC, we need to make some tests before we start dismantling. Wow, that's not supposed to be happening. So I just plugged in the power supply from the power source to check if the PC is still open. But since the PC doesn't give any sign of life, so I just go to check the power supply if the power supply is still working. But I think the power supply is still working due to its condition. To make sure, let's try it by using our multimeter. So the power supply is still okay. So we need to get into the main unit to find out what this PC issue have, why it is not powering on. So let's get into action. But first we need to prepare our tools. But I suspected that this all-in-one PC, the mainboard is busted. So we need to disassemble this all-in-one PC to check if there is only one motherboard or one board inside the PC. Since this PC have separated power supply, so 100% only one board inside. But I'm not sure that this PC has only one board, so let's try to dig in and find out what's inside of this. This all-in-one PC doesn't have any screw attached to the side of the cover. Only one screw used to flip the LCD from the back cover. So I prefer to use this scraper to remove the clip from the LCD. But I have to rounded the edges of this scraper so it will not damage the plastic cover. in this case, I already managed to detach the bottom and the two sides of this unit. So as you can see, there is only one board inside that controls everything. Actually, it's a motherboard. There are only two cables that attach from the LCD to the main board. The top side where the camera is located, so I need to carefully detach later. So now that we already detached the LCD from the cover, so we will now remove the two cable wires that connected from the mainboard to the LCD, so we can separate these two sections together. So these two cables attached to the mainboard. So the LCD assembly, it looks good, so I think this one have no problem, still good to use. So at this moment, I already found some discoloration on the motherboard. So let's remove the motherboard, but first we need to detach the other parts. So first, I prefer to remove the top part which the camera is located. First, I remove the camera from the assembly and follow the assembly from the back cover. So the rest of the components already exposed, so it's now easy to remove each component. Since this unit only 2 years old, so the paste is still wet. I'm hoping that the CPU is still in good condition. So by the way, the specs of this all-in-one PC, hard disk is 1TB, which is already higher from the past 2 years, but the memory is only 4GB DDR4 226B, and the video or the GPU is UHD Intel 360. So there is no special for this kind of computer. The purpose is only is for study or for small office and play a game with lower resolution. If you play a higher resolution, you can experience some laggage because the GPU is only UHD Intel 630. Higher resolution game, sometimes it runs and sometimes don't run, and you will not experience the high quality of the game. So at this moment, I already decided that it need to replace the main board. Some parts can still be used. So I need to remove also the CPU from the main board. I think it's still working 100%. So it's now time to remove the main board from the casing. In order to remove the mainboard from the assembly, you need to push at the back in order to pop up from the casing. So the motherboard already been removed, so this is the model number we need to order. So this area I find some discoloration and it smell like burnt tire also. Then at the back, as you can see, the capacitor here have the discoloration obviously, and some parts here have also some discoloration. So 100% that the motherboard is already busted and need to be replaced. So I don't have chances to find a new one, but I found is this second-hand motherboard from China. And I also ordered 2 pieces of 8 GB memory DDR4 266B. So for the info, I just leave my table as is untouched for 4 days to save my setup. So while waiting the motherboard and the memory arrive, I just put it like this, untouched. So the model is the same as I ordered. I don't have time to doubt about this motherboard from China if this one is still working or not, but the sellers say this was salvaged from a broken LCD all-in-one Lenovo F0DT. So as you can see, it perfectly fit from the casing. So the mainboard costs about 400 RMB, and the 2 8GB memory costs about 260 RMB. I don't know if this is expensive or not. Just comment below what you think. So it's better to buy a second hand or just buy a parts. Well, anyway, I love fixing things, so I just buy the parts and see if I can make this unit running again. And besides, from my own experience, I already fixed maybe hundreds or 200 units, different model, different ages. So sometimes I failed, but most of the time success. So in this case, that I changed the motherboard from a second-hand seller. I'm hoping that the seller has words that telling that this motherboard is still okay, not busted. But unless we switch on the unit and try to open it. I'm hoping that after I finish assembling this computer and trying to switch on, and it will give a sign of life, then I will give this to someone who is really need it for free. Before this video, I already fixed a laptop, and as usual, the laptop is given by a friend again that has some issue. I don't know why my friends always give me some issue. Do I have an issue? Well, anyway, my friend just only helping me because I love fixing computer. So they just give me, if they have a computer that already been not used for a long time, sometimes 2 years or 3 years ago, they just call me, oh, you need this one, come along and pick it up. And then sometimes I already have a lot of computer in my house, so what I do, so I just send it home and give it to someone needing it. Usually my relatives, my cousin, my friends, my son and daughter. So this 4-in-1 PC, I will give it to my son who is needing it for this study. Actually, I want them to buy a new one, but since it only purpose for the study, so this one I think it's fine to use. That's only for browsing or searching. It's fine. So that's the last parts. Now I have to install the two 8GB memory, so the total is 16GB. So I think it's all done. So we need to check or test the motherboard if it's working or not. So I leave it open like this. And I will attach the LCD and connect, and let's power on. Let's see if it's work or not. So as you can see, it is difficult to connect the cable to the motherboard in setup like this. So I need to remove some harness so that the cable will be connected at the motherboard. So at this moment I have to remove two harness. So now that the two cables are now connected, so let's insert the power cable at the back of the unit. So this is the moment, so let's power on. So at this moment there is no power or any lights from the LCD, so I suspected again that the motherboard that I bought was busted. So I just wait a little longer and see if there is a light. So cross fingers, lights on, so the motherboard is in good condition and it's working, as well as the CPU also. So there it goes, it power on and boot up. So at the back, as you can see, here's the setup. So 2 cables connected to the motherboard. So the test has been made and it is boot up successfully. It's now ready to put it back together. In the first part of my video, there are only 4 screws attached to the cover. So only 4. Since the original OS was in Chinese language, so I installed the English version. So I downloaded a couple of software and test it run, and it works fine. So this is the end of my video. Hope you enjoy while we are dismantling the computer as well as assembling it together. So hope you like it, guys. Thank you for watching.